Power is the capacity to force someone to do something.
I want what I want when I want it. And sometimes when you're the boss and you have positional power, you can manipulate that to happen.
This isn't leadership. That's coercion. Leadership is something else.
You know what? The words power should only be used in connection with weightlifting and boats. And otherwise, you should forget the word power. That's one of the most offensive words in the world to me when it's applied to human relationships and structures within any organization.
I had a good mentor of mine, and when something go incorrect, he'd say, you know what, where you really should start is, says there's a nice big mirror in the men's room. Go take a look there first. But what do I really got to do? Oh, it used to make me angry, you know? Because I'd say, well, that's not the problem, it's them. I don't have any influence or control really on anyone. At least sometimes I stand a chance with me. Occasionally we're high, and that's where it starts.
When I first took over the shop, I kind of ran it like a dictatorship. In other words, I was the old mean boss that cracked the whip all the time to create results out of my employees.
You know, Johnny used to work out here every day, and boy, if there was a shrimp that fell on the floor from somebody walking by, boy, they got it. They were, felt like they had the whip cracked across their back.
Am I going to get a helper today?
That's the only way I knew how to run things, because that's how my father kind of raised me.
Thank you.
And I had this realization that there was other ways of, empowering people.
Craps? Craps? Oh, hi. How are you?
He chose to, be a different person than he was. Started realizing things about himself and started sharing the things that he's learned.
You got a lot of work for you cut out today then, don't you?
I don't know what you would call it. It's just, he's just being himself and there's no power trip. He's not the owner when he comes around.
How many do we got left? How many do we got in inventory?
He deals with the problems of the shop, of the store, amazingly. He doesn't let his emotions, he doesn't let his anger, anything like that get involved with what's going on. In a 20-year.
There's times when I get upset with an employee, but behind all that conversation, that negative conversation, I always bring up the conversation in the background. Hey, this guy is great and I love him. And out of that conversation, I'm able to communicate with him in a positive manner versus a negative manner. We've created an environment that's totally safe for you to say anything you want to anybody you want in the organization, including myself. 4 and 5 and 6 and 7. Watch your back, Peterson.
He really actually cares. I've never had a boss that I felt like that, for or about. Just because you can tell he's being honest, you can tell he's being real with you.
He's got something that I want. He's got, that attitude that I want, that I'm striving for, that I want to gain from.
It all comes down to partnership. We are partners in a common goal. And out of that, we love each other. And it sounds really corny, but we do. We do love each other.
The world's greatest hobby for employees is boss watching. They love to boss watch. So they're honed in on you and they're honed in on what your attitude is. You are a role model.
If I walk out on the floor in a bad mood, then everybody's going to pick up on it and they're going to wonder something's wrong, something's up. Or if I don't say hi to somebody, they're going to say that he doesn't like me anymore. I'm going to put that person in a bad mood.
And that's the problem with being a leader is you're infectious. And the question you always got to ask is, do they want to catch what you got?
It's really being human. That's why I wanted to be a nurse. I wanted to be human. I wanted to make that contact with somebody. So fish was almost a permission slip for the nurses to be what they really wanted to be anyway.
Oh no, that's you. We're saving all these for you.
You look fresh for working nights. We hit a lull, I guess about 6 months ago. And I could feel it. I realized a lot of it was me. The way that I was coming around the corner in the morning, dragging, instead of coming in like I had before, I could feel it, and I kept thinking, oh, my God, of all the places in the world, we can't let this die yet. Blow on the fire, blow on the fire. And I remember one day Hilda came out, she said, we got to do something. We got to do something. I said, well, what do you think we should do? And she laughed at me, because I said it back to her like, what do you think? What do you do? And I looked at her and I said, we're the problem, because we're not being it, so they don't feel the need. They have to feel motivated by you and I and Kathy. Where are you going? Whoever the leader of the group is, whether it's an official leader or one of those assumed leaders, that person really has to believe, and they really have to walk the walk. You have to be out there all the time. We have to make sure we do that correctly.
Just like a marriage, right? You just can't get married and say, okay, I'm just gonna kind of cruise control now. I'm feeling pretty good about it. So how's that gonna turn out in a couple years? Not so good. The same with changing, your attitude and your culture of your company.
If you want to change the way things are going at work, then first you got to start with yourself.
Then you have to look in the mirror and decide what you're going to do. And it's going to take some risks.
It starts with you. Change your own behavior for a week and watch what happens in your organization. You'll be amazed. You will be amazed. Because if you become a little more playful and you're thanking people and you're paying attention and you're smiling more, the people around you will do the same thing. They will follow your lead, because that's what you are, a leader.
One of my big frustrations is like, I think I got this gift. I can see what's wrong with everyone else. And to really change an organization, you've got to start to change yourself. And that's been very humbling, because I realize that 9 out of 10 problems in my organization, it's always been me. And now I see that. So as I work on myself, I find I have a bigger impact on people than when I was trying to work on them.